Do you think you have privacy? Do you think the Fourth Amendment protects you when you close your front door? Think again. We like to believe that in America, unless you commit a crime, the government leaves you alone. But while you were sleeping, while you were driving to work, and while you were paying your electric bill, the federal government was building a machine designed to watch you. Let's look at the hard data right now. In a single year, the FBI improperly searched the private digital data of American citizens 278,000 times. That is not a typo. That is 250,000 violations of your rights. They didn't just look at terrorists, they looked at George Floyd protesters. They looked at 19,000 people who simply donated money to a congressional campaign. They even spied on a sitting U.S. senator. And it's not just the FBI. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, isn't just at the border. They are in your state right now. ICE has scanned the driver's license photos of 1 in every 3 American adults. If you have a driver's license, there is a 30% chance your face is already in their facial recognition lineup, being scanned without your consent and without a warrant. This isn't about national security anymore. This is about control. Over the next 20 minutes, we are going to tear down the walls of the American dragnet. We're going to show you how they track your location through your light switch, how they labeled parents as threats for speaking up at school boards, and how a multi-billion-dollar industry is getting rich off human detention. This is the story the government doesn't want you to hear. To understand how they get away with this, you have to understand a little legal trick called FISA Section 702. It sounds boring, but it's the most dangerous tool they have. The law says the government can spy on foreigners outside the U.S. without a warrant. That sounds fine, right? But here's the catch. When the NSA spies on a foreigner, they also collect everything that person sends or receives. If that foreigner emails you, or if you email them, the government collects your data too. This is called incidental collection. But once your emails, your texts, and your phone calls are in their database, the FBI can search through them whenever they want. They call it a backdoor search. They don't need a judge to sign a warrant. They just type in your name. And they abuse this power constantly. That 278,000 number I gave you earlier, that included the FBI running batch searches on people arrested during the Black Lives Matter protests in 2020. These were domestic civil unrest events, not foreign terrorism. Yet the FBI used spy tools meant for foreign adversaries to track Americans exercising their First Amendment rights. They did the same thing after January 6th. They ran searches on people suspected of being at the Capitol to find evidence of foreign influence, using national security as an excuse to conduct domestic criminal investigations without probable cause. But it gets even darker. They aren't just looking for criminals, they are looking for political opponents. An analyst ran 19,000 queries on donors to a congressional campaign. Think about that. Why does the FBI need to know who you donated $50 to? They are mapping the political networks of American citizens, and they are doing it with zero oversight. If you think this only happens to bad people, look at what happened to parents in 2021. After the National School Boards Association sent a letter comparing parents protesting mask mandates and curriculum changes to domestic terrorists, the Department of Justice didn't laugh it off. They mobilized. Whistleblowers revealed that the FBI created a specific threat tag, EDU officials. They applied this tag to investigations in every region of the country. They investigated a mom because she told a school board member, "We are coming for you," meaning electronically, at the ballot box. But the FBI treated it like a threat of violence. They used counter-terrorism resources to police the rhetoric of local town halls. And it wasn't just parents. In 2023, a leaked memo from the FBI's Richmond field office showed they were targeting radical traditionalist Catholics. The memo suggested that the FBI should infiltrate churches and develop sources among the clergy to monitor these groups. Why? Because they hold pro-life and pro-family views, which the FBI linked to white supremacy. They cited the Southern Poverty Law Center as a source, a biased political group to justify spying on Americans while they prayed. Although the FBI director later retracted the memo, the fact that it was written and approved shows a culture that views American tradition as a threat to be managed, not a right to be protected. While the FBI reads your emails, ICE is tracking your physical location, and they found a way to do it that bypasses the Constitution entirely. It's called the American Dragnet. Here's how it works. Usually, if the police want to track where you live or see your utility records, they need a warrant. But ICE discovered a loophole. They can just buy the data. They go to commercial data brokers, companies that collect your information for marketing, and they write a check. Between 2008 and 2021, ICE spent $2.8 billion building this surveillance state. They bought access to utility records, water, gas, electricity, internet. This allows them to locate 3 out of 4 American adults. If you turn on the lights in a new apartment, ICE knows where you are. But the scariest part is the facial recognition. ICE has accessed the driver's license databases of states across the country. They have scanned the faces of 1 in 3 American adults. They run these scans to find undocumented immigrants, but to do that, they have to scan everyone. Your face is in their system. You are part of a perpetual digital police lineup that you never consented to join. And this system makes mistakes. Terrible mistakes. In January 2025 in St. Paul, Minnesota, ICE agents smashed down the door of Chong-Lee Scott Thao. Thao is 56 years old. He is a U.S. citizen since 1991. He has no criminal record. Agents dragged him out of his house in sub-zero temperatures. He was wearing nothing but his underwear and a blanket. His 5-year-old grandson watched in terror as agents pointed guns at his grandfather. They drove him around for an hour before they finally checked his ID and realized they had the wrong guy. A citizen treated like a terrorist because of a description. This is the reality of a militarized police force operating on bad data. Why is this system so aggressive? Follow the money. The detention of human beings in America is a business, a multi-billion-dollar business. Over 90% of people detained by ICE are held in private prisons. These facilities are run by corporations like Geo Group and Core Civic. These companies make billions of dollars from government contracts. In 2022, Geo Group got 44% of its total revenue just from ICE. And get this, many of these contracts have guaranteed minimums. That means the taxpayers, you, pay for a minimum number of beds whether they're empty or not. We are paying millions of dollars for empty beds just to keep stock prices high. And what do we get for that money? Neglect. Reports from the ACLU and government auditors show systemic medical neglect in these facilities. Detainees with cancer denied medication, people in agonizing pain ignored. It is a system designed to maximize profit by minimizing care. Now politicians are talking about mass deportation. They sell it as a way to fix the economy, but the data shows it would actually destroy it. If the government tried to deport the millions of undocumented people currently here, the direct cost of the operation would be at least $315 billion. That's 4 times the budget of NASA. That's twice the budget of the NIH. But the real cost is to the economy. These workers are critical to agriculture, construction, and hospitality. Removing them would rip a hole in the labor force. Economists estimate that it would cause the GDP to drop by 4.2 to 6.8%. To put that in perspective, the Great Recession of 2008 only shrank the GDP by 4.3%. Mass deportation would engineer a financial crisis on purpose. It would also slash the household income of mixed-status families, families with U.S. citizen children, by 62%. We would be plunging millions of American children into poverty overnight. So here's the truth. They told you they needed these powers to catch terrorists, but they used them to track donors and parents. They told you they needed data to find criminals, but they scanned your driver's license and tracked your electricity. They told you deportation would save money, but it's going to cost you billions and crash the economy. The system isn't broken. It's working exactly as designed. It's designed to watch you, control you, and bill you for the privilege. The Fourth Amendment isn't for sale, but the government has already sold it. It's time we demand a refund.